right, so this is the Harmony crash course thing, whatever, the Harmony Day, whatever. My name is Jim Richardson, and I'll try to keep my comments short and to the point. I'm usually good at just kind of rambling and going off into different things, and I don't want to do that because this is pretty important for you to learn this software, but I'll try to make it humorous in some sort of fashion, just so you're not falling asleep. I've been using Harmony for a while. It started off with Toonboom Studio, which is like their baby. It was their baby program, and then it became Animate Pro, and then it became something else, and then it became Harmony. And so they just kind of took all the other stuff and got rid of it. And now this is what we have: is Harmony for 2D and Storyboard Pro for doing storyboards. So I'm just going to jump in here and try to make this go. And if you have a question, you can ask it. If there's something, we're in that situation, like in that area, ask a question about that thing. If not, you can just wait till the end, and but yeah, so let's go into that right now. Okay, so you can either have, a lot of these tutorials are done by either professionals or sometimes it's someone in another country. You've seen all on YouTube. It's like, or it's the little kid who just unboxed his package of Harmony. So anyway, this is what it is. Unlike Maya to me is like a giant battleship. You got the animation room and the lighting room and all that stuff. Harmony is a little bit friendlier. It does have its ups and downs, but there's not that many of them. So let me just show you what to do here. So you want to go into your applications, and you can follow along, or you can just take notes. However you want to deal with this, you can. But this seems like you have it here, so I'm just going to open a fresh copy here and show you kind of how this goes as we're waiting here. I've got this thing here. I'll promote this later too, but this is me. This is my email address, and I have some blogs that I have come up with. One's called Animate Educated, which is just all stuff about animation and education and put in one thing. Something called WatchCat Files, which is a film I'm working on called WatchCat, and then there's a Jim Animation, which is just a bunch of stuff I've done in the past, and we'll talk about that later. So I want to show you this. How's that looking up there? Oh, that looks good. See that okay? Okay, so there's like several workflows in Harmony. I'm just going to try to, in the time we have, cover 3 of them. But the first one is like if you have cleanup drawings that you finally pencil tested and you've got it looking perfect, you can clean those up and then scan them into the system. There's also, you can import it from storyboard frames from Photoshop or Storyboard Pro, and go in from there. And there's also, you can actually do your entire animation like animatic, your animated storyboard, get that all finalized so there's no problems with it. What you're cutting to and all that. You can import that, and then there's a traditional digital production where you can just go from any point and just keep it all in the computer, no paper, just all digital stuff. And then there's cutout animation, which is at the end, which a lot of studios are doing because it's so much easier and so fast that you have all your characters, all your models in a library at different poses. You can just grab things off of them, like change the hands, change the expression, change the three-quarter view to full view to side view. And this is a lot of stuff is done like that now in 2D production. It might not be in this country, but It's in other places around the world, and that's how they do that. I have one thing on there, that will probably show that little thing there, and I'll show that later. So anyway, so when you first open up Toonboom, you get this, oh yeah, wait a minute, I got to go into this too, hold on. So another important thing to remember, very important, is that each scene in Toonboom, in Harmony, should be a separate file. So if you have scene 1, you have a separate file. You have scene 2, separate file, separate file, separate file. I have seen people do this where they'll start with scene 1, and then every single scene inside that is a different shot, okay? And what they do is they go through like that, but if you change anything, adjust your length in the middle, then that affects everything on the sides. So it's kind of, that's kind of difficult. You have to go back and redo stuff. Another thing is, if anything happened to that file, that one file that holds all those scenes in it, you're screwed, basically. So it has been done, though. I worked on a production, which I'll show you later, where this guy does that, and then if there's any problem, he just focuses on that scene in the timeline and changes that, as opposed to changing everything else. But anyway, it's kind of tricky. Anyway, and then each scene can be imported into Premiere or Final Cut or After Effects, and each scene version is added to the latest cut. So if you start off with a Premiere file or something where you've got your whole film in there, it's all storyboards, you can cut in each one of those scenes and update it every time you update. You just put it in there. And then each scene needs to have its own naming convention. So you got to be really strict on yourself on this. Don't just put, the dog part, or something like that. I mean, really be specific. Like, give yourself a production name, underscore, scene number, underscore, what kind of, where is it in production? Is it in animatic form, or is it in rough animation? Is it in cleanup? Is it in final? You put that information on your file. So you just have all these files like that. Okay, so now here comes the fun part. All right. Okay, so let me just put this over here, and let's see. Okay, so we got through that. Hey, page 1's done. All right. So this is your welcome screen and of Harmony, and this is where you create your files and your scene, and you can bring in scenes over here. I already made one called Demo Test, so that was a scene I previously did, so it'll be over on this side. You got the scene name right there. You can always change that, and you definitely need to know where you're going to put this thing. So you got to kind of set up your files ahead of time to go to that wherever you're going to put it. And make sure you put this on keep all this together, and all that. So let's see. So now we've got a scene, and it has a camera setting here. You can decide what kind of setting you want. There's a lot of choices here. It usually comes in at this one right here, which is fine. That's HD TV size. Okay, and then that's the big size, width, height, right? 24 frames per second, vertical view. I'm not sure what that means, but I'll just go with it. So, and then you've got some tutorials here. If you want, you can always click on here and see what's up to date, what's going on. There's a get help thing over here and all that. So let me, let's just start it off. We'll do another test. How about we just go in like we're just fresh, and we'll just say demo, let's see, 001. All right. So I'll just change where I'm going to go, and in this case I'm just going to keep it on my desktop because I want to keep all the stuff there. I don't want to go into this computer too heavy. So there it is, and then I just say make sure all this stuff's up. I go okay, create, and it pops up this. So this is your interface. This is where you do all your make your magic right here, This is a default setting, and you say, gosh, you know, that's really nice, but I wish I could change it. Well, they give you this choice. You can actually go into hand-drawn, and you go like this, you wait a second, and then boing, it changes it. It gives you like an exposure sheet on this side for drawings, and it kind of changes everything around a bit, you know, gives it more like that. You can also go into compositing. If you've got some things already, you want to go. And this is a very scary thing that looks very scary, but it's actually very useful. This is your node library and node properties. So, what's that? Am I what? I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Go to composite. It pops it on. So this is just something I'm not going to get in today because this node library is like a giant animal in itself. But you'll see. I'll touch on it a little bit. Okay. I mean, people see this and they just I mean, this is a nice little graph here, but wait till it gets we start doing stuff. All right. So you also have animating, which is pretty much where you might be. So it kind of sets things up a little different, and it gives you kind of this setup right here. So let's just start off with all the bits and pieces here. Let's go back into default mode. And there's something called scripting, which looks like this, and I don't even want to get into that. I don't even use that at all, so I'm getting out of that. So don't go in that room. Okay, so here's the default setting. Nice friendly place. And you can just stay here if you want. You don't have to venture out if you don't want to. Up top, we've got all the menus. We've got File. We've got Edit. Under Edit, there's a lot of stuff. Preferences is a good one. You can go into Preferences here. And there's little things you can do. This is a general preference right here. And what I usually do is sometimes I just put this thing called Focus on Mouse Enter. And it just lets you, whenever you get into one of the, you've got a red line here, so like it kind of shows you where you're at. So if you didn't know that already, by just putting your mouse there, it kind of gives you that option. So that's one thing you can start to do. Okay, so we've got, that's all the preferences again. That has like just tons of stuff in here. You can customize your shortcuts and things, I believe. Yeah, right in here. And yeah, but don't start doing that yet. Let's just stay out of this. The only thing we do have is advanced, and that's a little bit, you could actually turn on all these things if you want. We'll go over this later. Let's just leave it blank for now, and we'll show you what happens in here. But there's all this stuff, and some of this is stuff for 2D, some of this is for doing cutout animation. View, we have lots of things in the view there, full screen, all that stuff. We got light table and onion skin. We'll get into that. Play, that's lots of stuff there. This is your insert. You can insert different items in here. Scenes. There's a drawing thing with drawing information. There's animation. Yeah. So. What can we do in here? Yeah, I'll move on to that later. Anyway, Windows, there's all these different things for Windows. This is where your workspace is. You can turn on different things here in the toolbar, and it'll pop up along the top there. Right now it looks pretty good. Yeah, okay. And help, there's that if you need that. All right, and so also along the bottom here, along the side, is a tool menu. So you've got like the select thing here, and on these little icons, there's this little triangle at the bottom there. So if you just click on it in the middle, it doesn't pop up, but in the kind of go on that side there, it gives you different choices. So you got like a select tool, a cutter tool, replacement drawings, all this stuff. We'll get into that. This is your contour editor. It houses a lot of fun tools in there. You got a paintbrush. Woo! When it you turn that on, you can see over here in your tool properties, it gives you a choice of different brushes. And you can go through here and pick out, they have texture brushes already made. You can also make your own brush if you want. And then we have pencil. Pencil over here, same thing. Different brushes for different selection for brushes. And let's see what else. Okay. And then just show you this. This is good. Okay, so now when you get in here, this is basically a black background. Down here, there's these two little flowers. You see those little flowers there? One is called OpenGL View, which it's on now, and the other one is Render View, which looks like that. It's basically a clear black, you're in a black room basically here. So when you first get in here, you think, oh, I'm going to draw in here. So you might want to take your paint, your drawing tool. Oh, I can draw on the screen. So you can paint, this is your paint line. And then I can click over here to pencil line and do that. Wait, let me take that a little bit bigger. Come on now. Let's make it a bigger line. How about this? So your pencil tool allows you to do kind of a thick and thin line. So it's based on if you kind of do it real quickly and then press down hard, you can get like a nice curvy thick and thin line like that. And the difference about these two lines, I usually use brush lines all the time, but you can use pencil too. It's okay. If you go into your contour editor, there's this little thing there. You just click on that white arrow. If you click on your lines now, you'll see a difference. If you click on the paintbrush, you can actually click on, you see all these little, it's almost like all these little targets are around your line. It outlines your line, and then inside it's all filled with paint. But you can click on these little points, and you can actually move them if you wanted to. You can change this by just clicking on those little points and moving them around. And this is good to know if you're doing some film where you want to have a character that's a line character or something. Maybe you can use this. So this is just a different way of working with this stuff. This is the properties it has. And then pencil is a little bit different. You click on this, and all the little control lines there, you can actually grab them and pull them around, right? Like that. You can grab the whole thing. You can just lasso the whole thing, and now you can grab the whole thing like that. And then remember how to move this guy. So if I'm moving him, yeah, so now I've got this. I go back to selection, and now I can kind of wait till I get that target there, and then I can actually move my line around like that. But the cool thing is you go back in this editor, and you can like play with these lines, and you say like, oh, you can also click on these little targets. When you click on a target, it kind of opens up this little, let's see, I think it's this one way better. There, you can see a little curve there. You can actually adjust the curves here. You can pull them out to curve them even more, get them more smooth, like that. All right. Now this is something for traditional animation people who do everything on paper and they scan it in. They might not use this, but if you see a need for this, if you want to do something like this, you can. It's available to you. And it gets a little tricky here. There should be two. I don't know what's going on there. There we go. No, that's not it. Anyway, let's see. I thought there were two sides to this thing. Anyway, so that's one way of just controlling lines. Again, I usually just use the paintbrush to outline stuff, and I don't even play around with them moving around unless I have to. So anyway, so that's just a little about that. We've got eraser, right? Oh, we got the type tool, so you can type stuff. Just click on it and just say, you can do that. And every time you click one of these tools over here in the tool property thing, it pops up. The two things on this line over here with the tool properties, whatever is up here, there's a plus button. If you push that plus button, you can see all the different things you can put on up there and use. So this all changes. So we'll go over this. If you don't like something, if you don't want, say I've got my library in there, but I have my library here, but I'm not really using it, you can push X here and it'll just delete it. It's still there. You know, I can always bring it back later with the plus button, okay? So that's just a default. This is a good way of getting around things. So I've got my, yeah, I got that, and if I want to just kind of highlight it, I can change over here all the fonts. There's all these thousands of fonts here. Let's find a good one, I don't know. And you can kind of click on here and kind of scroll down, and does it change? Okay, I thought it changed. Let's see. So you can do that. And then resizing it. It's just kind of like Photoshop, you know. Hey, all right. So there's that, the type tool. And let's get rid of him. Thank you. Thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you. All right. And then we got a erase tool, which you got to have something to erase first. Okay, so if I had this, you can go into the erase tool. Pretty self-explanatory. You got that. You also have settings here for your eraser. You could have a hard, big square eraser. You can do it real softly, real gentle. You know, just kind of wisping it along there. Ah. I know it's not doing it. That's weird. And then up here, it tells you, you know, you can set these settings if you want. Okay, so the big guy here, so that's erase, or you can just circle it and delete it like that. Paint bucket. We're going to go into that a little bit later, but basically this is what it does. It comes in with a big tool thing here, and this is it. What you don't want to do is delete one of these guys. It has happened. Don't worry about it. If you do it, you can always just go back and Control Z, I think. But if you want to change, you know, add another thing, you can just go up to this little plus button. It says add color in English, and you just go like that, and now you've got your color, and you can click on here. You can give it a name. I don't know, whatever this part is, maybe the hair of somebody. And then you don't want black, you can just click in there, and this pops up, and you got like a little color picker here. You can drag around on a thing. You can go in here and just kind of find the color you want. And let's say if that's his hair color, you say, yeah, I love it. I love my hair color. Yeah, that's it. It's beautiful. It's great. The client loves this. It's for a commercial. We're doing hair color character. Here's our new character right here. Oops. Okay, our new character looks like this. You know, he's like this suave guy. And he's got this really great hair here. Oh yeah, also when I'm drawing here, there's also a smooth tool right in here. So if you got too much coffee that day, whoops, like that, you can go, you know, if you got like a thing like that, your smoothing's all the way down. So if you want, you can just kind of bring this up a little bit, and if you're trying to draw a straight line, it'll smooth it out. Okay? Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, so if you can go over to your little plus button here. Where are we? I lost my mouse. Right, there it is. Okay, so right here, you can go to Tool Properties and it'll pop right back up. All right? Are you all on the path with me? Okay, we're all on the cement path, right? Because outside that path is grass, and you don't know what's in that. You could, you know, die. So okay, so that's one thing. Smoothing is really good. You know, it's a good thing. Good good thing. Okay, so let's take that guy off. So what I was saying about this guy, his head, I'm just trying to show you how this works. So I've got I'm going to change that size of that brush because I don't like it. It's too fat. I'll go to a 2 size, and then I can just start drawing his, wispy hair, Oh yeah, he's got nice hair. Yeah, right. Yeah. So now I really have to be careful in doing this because what's happening is all these points are happening. So if I fill that, it's gonna maybe not be able to get some of these things. So let me just make this very simple over here. And if I say this is my guy's hair, like that. And then also I want to show this really cool tool here where I didn't quite, right? I got a little gap there. Uh-oh. So what I can do is I can go in my hair color, and this is where paint bucket happens. You can actually, if I go into my character here and paint his hair, there's lots of holes in his head. So if I just go to that, I can actually fill it in, right? Now what happens if I go here? Oh no, what's going on? Oh yeah, you can scroll back and forth using the middle mouse scroller there. See, I got this curve here. This might be a little bit too big of a curve, but there's this really cool tool right here in your tool properties where it's called no gap. So there's various places here you can turn it on. But you can get a small gap, medium, or large. In this case, I'll just go with large. And then when I click on it, it will, if it's not too big, it'll fill, right? Everybody see that? Am I? Yeah, yeah. Oh, the tool properties? Yeah, just go over to this where I'm at right here. This line, just push plus button, and there's all your stuff. Just go to that, and that'll pop up your tool properties. And then the gap thing is this little round half thing there. You see that? Yeah, and then you can just open the window over here. Oops, right there. And you can see all these different choices. If I'm going too fast, just, flag me down. Okay. You okay? Everybody okay? All right. We'll show some stuff too. But this is a really great tool because it'll close up stuff when you're trying to ink it. You're trying to paint it, that is. And it's not working now. Oh, what happened? Oh, because I didn't put it in there. All right, close that gap. And then there it is right there. Okay, so there's that. Paint bucket. Okay. Yeah, so paint bucket. Yeah. So that's one of the things about painting. I'm going to show you a little bit more later. But there's a thing here. There's all this other stuff. There's paint. There's ink. Paint, unpainted, repaint, unpainted. Some of this stuff I didn't even know existed until I started to try to write this stuff down. But see, there's your closed gap. I know that one, and I know that one. I didn't know these things existed, but they do. And anyway, I'll show you more about that. We're just going through the tools right now to show you what's here. So you got a line tool, and if you go over here, you got you can make a line, a rectangle, ellipse, or a polyline. It's just kind of like in Photoshop, You got the line, you got you can make this. If you want to, hold down your space, hold down space and middle, left click this, it'll stay the same shape throughout. You've got a ellipse tool. Let's move him over here. Ellipse tool, right? You can make it just circle by using the shift and pulling that mouse. You can do that, perfect circle, or you can just go, here's your ellipse, right? You can do that. What else? So that's oh, and then there's polyline, which is sometimes handy. I don't know. You can click on here, kind of like it makes a line, and then I think you can click on this and get those little curves. Maybe not. Again, this is not something that I'm using all the time. So let's see. Maybe I have to be on it. Maybe that's it. Is that it? Or no? I just making stuff. All right. Well, select. Okay. Select tool. Oh, it just gives me the segments. All right. All right. Well, maybe you look into that tool later on at your own time. Polyline. But okay. So there's that. And then down here we've got these other things. This is what is that called? That's called eyedropper. So that's just good for getting different colors. The other thing about this, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but the hair, if your client called up and says, no, that's not the hair we want, you can just go in to this and change it. We want it lighter. It's more of a greenish kind of thing. Yeah, that's what we want. And it changes. It'll change all through your whole scene, right? There is something here where you can if you right click on here, you can actually, on my computer it didn't work, but let's see if it works here. Color protect. You can click on that, and then if I go in here, yeah, it works there. Let's see if I can, maybe it's a paint thing. If I paint on top of it, paint bucket, and I choose something totally different, let's see, will that work? Yeah, it won't work because it's protected, right? I can click in here, anywhere it's solid, I can do that. But since I protected that layer, which is the little red mark, if you right click on it here, it's protected. And then you can unprotect it, and then now when I click on here, with a different color, of course, then it's going to change it. There. Everybody see that? Okay? Again, if this is going too fast, right now I'm just showing you all what's on here. You don't have to be drunk, do what you want. But anyway, okay. So, yeah, so now we're getting in this heavy territory down on the toolbar on this side. With this is called drawing pivot. Each drawing that you click on has a pivot, and that's the pivot right there. And if I move it, I can change this, and then I can rotate it, and it rotates from wherever that pivot is. But usually it will stay in the middle here, and this gets a little complicated right now. See, now it once you click out of it, it'll go back, but there's a way to lock it down. So that exists. There's also pivot, and then there's this thing called morphing. I don't use morphing at all, but I mean, if you're doing some sort of thing where you wanted a shape to change into another shape, I guess you could use this. There's the hand tool, very, very handy. Oh, there's some people still awake. All right. So you can move with the hand, all right? Just like Photoshop. You can zoom. You can click on here, use your shift button to zoom away, and minus or plus, right? Let's get that hand tool again. Get them in there. And then, what else? Yeah, and then there's one more. Oh, rotate view. This is something that I just found out how to do this. I'm going to use it a lot now. But you can click on this. It'll stay with there until you turn it off. But there's an easier way to do that with little handy dandy hotkeys. Which I think I have here, just to make sure I'm giving you the right information. You can press Control button and Alt button, and it'll rotate it like that, right? And this is great for, it's just like your drawing disc, if you want to get a curve, you know, you want to use your wrist going this way as opposed to going like that. You can use this. And then if you want to get out of this, you're like, okay, I want to go on now. Oh, crap, I can't move. It's still there. Then you just push Control M, I believe. Let's see. No. Control Shift M? No. Maybe I have to. Oh, crap. It's not working. Let's see. Where is it? I've got it here. Don't panic. It's all right. Where did I put that? Control M. Shift M. Shift M. Yeah, Shift M. That's it. What?
Where's the animation tool tag bar thing that you
And oh, the rotation? Yeah, you just go over here where that hand is.
Yeah.
So you can click on it like that, or you can just if I do Shift M, that turns, well, oh wow, it's going back and forth now. That's nice. Control M. Huh, all right, it's doing some weird things. Maybe because I'm in this mode. You can do that.
Oh, I see, it's not going to rotate.
Yeah, so you can rotate it now. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Driving the car. Yeah.
How do you do it with a drawing?
Drawing? The drawing of brushes? The drawing tool? Selection of drawings? Well, there's a paintbrush or a pencil. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's for the lasso.
A what?
The lasso tool.
Lasso tool. Yeah, it's right up here. Select. You can whatever you select, just like that. It'll put a thing around it, or you can click out of here and then just kind of, you know, go around like that. Select just certain things. All right, let me get you something better here. All right, so Shift M. All right. Okay, so that's a fun one to use. So you can just put this back on hand if you want. Now, these two things are the most important things to remember when you're animating or you're drawing, because this little guy is called Animate, and what he does, you can click him off to turn him off, because what he'll do is if you're going down your timeline like this and you start drawing different things, it's going to put keyframes there. So you don't want to have this guy on. But this puts all the keyframes you know, for like, you know, transformation. You've got an advanced tool bar, which I'll go into a little bit. And then, so that's going to be on. So if you have anything where you're drawing and then something goes wrong and you're like, what? Why is it doing that? It might be because this little guy is turned on. So just turn them off. We also have this thing underneath it called Transform. It's a transform tool. Allows you to rotate or move your character or whatever you drew. This is used a lot in rigging different layers up and putting them together. And then of course under that is a bone tool, which I'm not even going to talk about because it's just so, I don't blow your minds today already, okay? This is a lot of, yeah, this is mainly for bones. You don't need to know that. But you do need to know onion skin. So let me show you that a little bit. All right, so let me make sure I'm not burning too fast here. All right, onion skin. Yeah, there it is. All right, and then yeah, this bone tool is called inverse kinematics. It's for setting up a rig so things move differently and stuff. And we don't need to know that right now. Okay, so this is your, let's get into this. So there's then the onion skin tool down here, this little guy. We click out of here. I don't want that bone thing to be on. Okay, so that's the little onion skin down there. And then, what else is there? We got the stage view. That's what you're going to be drawing in, right in there. Okay, that's where the animation takes place. You got to play back. What?
Where's stage view?
Where's what?
Where is stage view?
Stage view, this big giant thing right here.
Okay.
This thing, right? That big gray thing. Basically, what you're seeing, what your camera's gonna see. All right, we're there. All right, good. All right, so now we got these things down here. It's called your playback tools. Right down here, there's like there's a play forward. There's a render and play button. There's a loop, and then there's sound down here. Okay, that's gonna like play your animation along this timeline. That's what the timeline is there. Property view. So you've already introduced yourself to the property toolbar up there. That's where all the tools, functions are, and everything. The color view, that's like your paint. Yeah, that's right down here. And then your timeline view. That's where you're going to be doing all your frames are in here. You can extend this more. Like that. It usually comes in at 60, 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. No, it goes from 0 to 60 in frames, but you can always click over here, find this little line. You see that? And you can move it however you want it to go. All right, and it tells you your frame rate here. It tells you what frame you're on there, where you're starting, where you're stopping. And what frame, I don't know what 45 is. What is 45? 40, oh, where it is right now. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to do. I'm just going to see if just couple more things. All right, okay, so advanced toolbar. So if you go into your windows up here, you click on that, you'll see it says that's where you can change your workspace and all that. Let's just stay on default for now. You also have toolbars here, and there's something called advanced animation. Is yours set up already? You see that? So if it isn't, just click on that and we'll get some advanced tools, because we're pretty advanced, right? So anyway, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think they're up here. Yeah, these are your advanced tools right there. We'll get into that. There's a translate button there, right? It moves X, Y, and Z. Rotation layer, it rotates layers. There's a skew, just kind of like Photoshop. There's also something really cool called maintain size. I'll show you that later. It's a really excellent tool to use. It's one of my favorites. Then there's a spline offset, which I don't really deal with, nor do I deal with repositioning drawings. I don't know, haven't come across that. So this is basically your interface, and so these are just a couple of quick hotkeys you should kind of get to know. First of all, let me put a little graph up here, and if I click on graph, show graph. Oh, it's not. Is it showing it? All right, hold on. All right, so why is it not showing you that? Wait a minute. Okay, so here it is. Ta-da! This is it. All right, so I'm going to actually it brings you a drawing in already. If you go underneath here, this is called your layers right here on the top. You see where my mouse is? So there's a plus button. If you push that, you'll see all these different things. Bone, camera, color card, blah, 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 all this stuff. So what you want to do, remember, when you first come in here, this is what your background looks like. So if you draw black lines or whatever, it's going to be black on black. So you need a background. You need a background. So what you do is you go over to the layers, you go to that little plus button, you hold it down, you get color card. It pops up a color card right underneath here, okay? What's that? It's okay, because I'm in render view right now. But if I hit that little OpenGL, boom, yeah, I get the same thing. It's a little annoying, I know, but it's okay. It's just there. Don't worry about it. If you don't want to see it, you can go into here, but it's your render view, and so it might slow you down when you're drawing and stuff. Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff in here. I want to just show you, and I don't know why I can't get this thing to work. Usually there's a grid that pops up here, and I don't see the grid. All right, well, let's see, what can we do here? All right, so let's go into our first thing. We're jumping right ahead here. This is your first thing called the workflow, where we have cleaned up drawings, and let me show you what that looks like. I got them right here. I cleaned them up today. They're all clean. Where are the scanned cleanups? All right, so here's my scanned cleanups. Aren't they great? You like them? I like them. No, hold on. Let's get these a little bit bigger so you can see. Huh? Oh, of these are mine.
Okay.
But I will share with you later. Hold on. All right, so I'm trying to get this to get bigger, and it won't get bigger. Why not? Why is it not letting me? Okay, well, I'll show you one of these. What I do is I grab this guy, and it's loading. Why are we loading? It's thinking about it. Come on. Can I show them? Please. All right, let's see if we can get bigger here. Extra large. Okay, there you go. So now you can see these are these scanned in drawings. And usually what I do when I do my animation is I'll have a field guide. You know what those are, right? No. Do you know what that is? Okay, well, this is my field of view on a piece of paper with a rough sketch of my guy, and I've went back and I cleaned him up nice and pretty, and he's all on these different layers. He's doing a take. Everybody knows what a take is, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, good. So what I'm going to show you is how, if you've done all the work, you're ready to scan this in, this is what you do. That's what my guys look like. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to import for, I wouldn't do scanner because you'll be here all day. So just scan them all into a folder, and then you'll have them as images, and then you just have to click in here, and it's going to pull this out of that. So it's going from that. It says, you want me to create a layer? Yeah. You want to call it this? And you can, I think you can name it something else if you like. Let's try clean ups. Let's just see what happens. So here we have, underneath you have import options, which is keep as original bitmap. Do you want that? Which will be the original thing with a bitmap, so it'll be just kind of a background. You've got an import as Toonboom bitmap, or you've got convert Toonboom vector drawing. Now most of the time you'll be going for this, but since I'm going to clean up this drawing, I don't need to have a vector of this if I don't want to. If it's really clean though, I can go into this. So let me just show you what this looks like first. So I'm cleaning it up, and that's one drawing. All right, where did I do that? Oh, I know what it's doing here, I think. Why did it do that? Hold the phone. Why are you doing that? Let's see. Okay, it was supposed to come in a little different than that. All right, so this is my drawing as a bitmap, and it kind of looks very similar to a drawing, but I want to try to get this. If the line work is really good, you can go into a vector and try it that way, and if not, you can just use this and then redraw it on a different layer in Toonboom here, in Harmony. So let me see. That's weird it did that. All right, let me try this again. Let's see. Let me delete that. All right. So maybe. So we'll import an image again, and this time we're going to call it. Oh, it's there. All right. We're going to give it this number here. And usually what it does is, that's weird. No, it doesn't do that. Wait a minute. Hold it. I'm just, Okay. So, okay, maybe I have to select all these first. Let's see. 'Cause I want all these guys to come in here, not just one. Alright, so now we're all in. Create single layer name. Okay. Let's see if this works. So you have black and white and gray. You have one choice is black and white, the other choice is gray. There was a different choice here, but I think that's something else. So anyway, it brings it in way over here. So it's gray right there, so we can see this. Let me get rid of this annoying guy. Like that. Alright, so this, I would just use this to kind of get my 11 field on here. And if you pull back, you can see that that's my frame of my camera. So I might want to move this artwork bigger, or I can move my camera to it closer. But this is the rough right here. And now what we're going to do is, that's my guy. Right? And if we can zoom in here, you can see he's he's gray, so you can see all these, you know, looks like some sort of pencil drawing that's been done. Now if I actually go into a different thing, I'm going to bring up it in a different way so you can see how it looks. So we're going to import images again. We're going to give it a different layer. We don't want to add to this layer. We don't want to add this existing layer. Okay, good. So instead, I'm just going to put this into black and white. Alright, so it should give me a different layer, and it'll be black and white as opposed to gray. So now we can see this as that. So you can see the difference, right? Can you see the difference? So there's this, which is just in gray. Those lines, you know, it picks up all that stuff. But if I click on the black only, and I go to that layer, now look at that. It's pretty hideous. But it's turned this into vector lines, which you can kind of select. But what's happening is it's taking these things as big chunks. And so this is where you don't want to, you want to make sure that if I had a layer, I can change the color of the line, or I can actually paint bucket this as a test, put a blue line there, and then I'm going to go up to my gray one, and I'll show you what happens with that. So now got my gray one there. Now see what happens if it's gray, it's like goes from black to gray, and then you get this kind of like bad video effect happening on your colors. So you might want to just stay with the vector in black and white. Again, you can color over this if you want. You can re-ink this if you want. Okay, so I'm going to stay away from this one, and I'm going to go to this one here. And so if I don't want to see this guy, if I don't want to see this at all, there's this pair of eyeballs here. You can click on that to see that layer. Oh, there's my grid. Okay, good. There's my grid. Alright, so what I wanted to show you, since I didn't have anything to show you with, now I got the grid, I can show you what I can do. You can use your middle scrolling thing to go zoom in and out. You know, wherever you put your cursor, it'll start to go that way. Or you can push, type in 1 or 2 on your keyboard. Right, 2 goes in and 1 goes out. And then you've got a reset button here. So if you've got you zoomed in too much, you can just go to Shift Z, and it disappeared. Where'd it go? Oh, turned it off. Maybe you don't want to do that. Don't go to Shift. What is that? Don't go there. And then you've got panning ability, of course. You can hit the space bar, and it turns it into a little hand. Hi. and then you can move it around like that, you know. And then it says here you can if you want to reset this pan to where it was, you can push Shift N, and it did it. Yay! Okay, that's weird. So the zoom doesn't work. Shift. Oh, sorry. What is that? Shift Z. Yeah, then it goes in and out. All right. And then if you just want to reset the whole thing, you go Shift M, and it goes right back to normal. Again, this little thing up here at the top is a little graph. You can turn that on and off. That's usually used for positioning your camera for stuff. So let's do this. Let's okay. So that's my. I want to get confused. I don't want to get confused here. But there's my gray one. So I'm going to turn that off. I'm just going to delete it. And you notice you can't delete it. Oh, there. Oh, I lied. You can delete that frame. That's great. But I want to delete the whole thing. This whole layer. As long as you're on this layer and you want to delete it, you can go over here to this delete layers and it'll delete it. Alright? Okay, so I've done all my animation, right? And I go, yeah, I love it. I love it. It's great. I'm the best. Yeah, it's wonderful. Now, you notice I probably won't show this to the camera. I'll probably get rid of this or put it on a different layer. If you want to put it on a different layer, again, you can grab one of these guys. Right now the color layer's on top of my image, so sometimes I like to just, you know, I don't know, I want the color in the background, so I'll leave it like that. Alright, so if I'm coming, I've scanned this in, it's, you know, whoops, I have to change this, hold on, let me get rid of that. Okay, alright, so there's that, and okay, so you notice I got a lot of these things called artifacts. I really don't, this is all scanned in, so the scanner picked up all these little guys along the way. What you can do, it says in the manual that you can just kind of select this, and then you can go up to Windows, and there's something called Toolbar. Where is it? No, where'd it go? I just saw it last night, and I tried it, and I thought, what a great tool. And then it didn't work, and I was like, what a dumb tool. So here's cleanup, drawing cleanup, remove dirt, remove hair. So let's see if it does. And it says apply to all drawings, and you say darn right, and then it didn't do it. I don't know, it's not the right dirt. Huh?
There's a slider on that too.
There was a slider?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, maybe I'm alright. Remove dirt, and there's a slider. Oh.
That might take everything.
Oh, I can see, yeah, it is removing something here. It's not as thick. I don't know. Okay, let's try it. Oh, maybe it will. Oh! But it also took my eyeball. That wasn't dirt! That wasn't a dirty eyeball, was it? So anyway, you might have to do something like this on all your little drawings, which, you know, you're going to have to do, you know, just to make sure. There's probably some in here you don't even know exist. Like those guys. They always hang around.
Well, does it do it on every frame, or does it just do it on the one frame that you're on?
There's a thing there that says you can click on and changes all the frames, yeah. But it just took out my eyeball, so I'm not too happy with it. I don't know. So anyway, you can go through this and happily do this yourself. Oh, this is so fun. Why? So you just put on some tunes and listen to stuff and do that. Okay, so let me just get a clean looking guy. Oops. Alright, so this is just all this. I'm running kind of slow here, so I'm going to have to pick up the pace even more. Alright, so I'll just show you real quick how to do this. So when you scan this in, you might have shot this on 2s or 3s or whatever, but it's going to scan in each drawing on 1s. And so I'm going to leave some of these a little unclean here because I don't want to do this all day and I don't have time. So, but I'll get it like that. All right, so you get the idea, right? Okay, so you bring this in, you go, oh great, oh crap, it's all on ones now. I have a whole, you guys use exposure sheets, right? Kinda, yeah. All right, well anyway, what I do is I'll put up my stuff on an actual piece of paper that says what frame I'm on and all that. And I use that as a guide so to figure out this stuff. So in this case, it's all on ones, but that's not the scene. I mean, if I did that, of course, it looked like this. Hey, it's gone. That's not what I want. No, I have this whole backstory thing I'm doing. So let me see. I'm going to move this over here. It's not going to let me do it. Oh, and you can copy frames here. You don't. No, you can't. What happened? Wait a minute. Oh, copy frames. All right, I just saw it. Oh, yeah. Copy from timeline. This is real important because you can copy from one timeline and then you can paste to the other. Right? I don't know why it did that. I guess I'm in memory mode or something. Thought I got rid of him. Let's see. Okay. Well, not today. All right, so let me show you how to extend this. You can go in each frame and you can push Shift plus and you can make that frame get longer, stay on the screen longer. You can do that. You can go to the first frame. You can double click and you can go into what's called exposure. And there's increased exposure, which I just did with the plus, or decrease, which with just doing the minus. But you can also set this to 2, right? Now, it just set it for 2 on that one. So if you want to have the whole thing, just grab all these guys and put this on 2. I go into exposure. I'm going to set exposure 2. Boom. Now we're all on 2s, and he does that. All right. You might want to keep them a little longer on one thing, and you say, oh, I just want that one to be on 3s. So you could just go Shift plus, and now it made another one of those. So it's a little longer, right? And then you can hold this expression longer here by just going Shift plus. Or better yet, if you wanted to get it to 60 or some other length, you can push F5. F5 up at the top of your keyboard. Push F5 and then it says, would you like to extend this frame? And I say yes. And it says, okay, what frame would you like? And I say, I would like it to be on 60. And it says, there you go. So now it's done that. Of course, it did the wrong one. What the heck? Wait a minute. Oscar? Oh. Wait a minute. Is that right? Sorry, I'm learning something too here. It's laughing at me now. Okay, so all right. So this guy, so maybe I have to do that. Okay. F5 and overwrite. Maybe this is it. I say extend to 60. It extends to 60. Okay. I guess when it overwrote, it grabbed this one, or maybe I was on that. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. So it does that. And then here's the thing with all this stuff. You got your white card. You got your guy. You can now render this out. If you want, you can color it, whatever. Or if you just want to shoot this as a test, you can go up here, File. This is important, so write this one down. Important. It's import, and you go to Movie. And you go, okay, I'm going to make a movie. And then you say, all right, I'm going to put it up my desktop here. That's where it's going, and I'm going to give it a call. Let's call it Thug Guy. Or one. And then I'm going to, and it exports it as, oh, sorry. I knew that. That was a test. That's good. Thank you. You win a postcard. All right, so export, you're right. Thank you. Export, yes. Export movie. You can do lots of things here. Movie, soundtrack, other things you can export. We'll go for movie today. And this is it. We're going to say, okay, take that, put that on the desktop, and we'll just give it a name. Thug. I'll just do that because we're running. Say save. And then you've got different displays here, frames. Do you want 100? No, I just want it to go to 60. Okay, you can just type that in, and it's already down the street. Okay, well, I didn't want it to do that quite yet. Uh-oh, media extent is stopped. Okay, what does that mean? Oh no, media server is stopped. Run. Okay, well, it stopped, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Oh. Do that? Okay. Alright, so where'd it go? Where's my movie? I just don't know. It's in here. So it usually pops up, but maybe not today. Let's just turn this off. Can I do that? And there's my movie Thug. There he is. So if I open with that guy, it says, it just laughs at me and then says no. Why can't I see this? It's not a file, it understands. Oh, it doesn't understand.
You can probably open it with DLC.
Oh, okay.
QuickTime is way better.
Oh,
So it's frame by frame.
oh, different thing?
Yeah, but it has a bit.
Alright, hold on. I'm new to your world. Let's see. Open with TLC?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Fire hydrant. Alright, yay. And can I play it? Do you want it today? Alright. And there, I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on. Open file. Let's see, do I have to import it? This is getting a little weird. Is that what I do? Help! It's not working. Well, you didn't want to see it anyway. So, whoop, whoop. What happened?
Well, usually if you fiddle around with the settings, you'll get something like that working.
Yeah.
And the students are.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, it did something over here. Wow. Alright, not sure what's going on. Still thinking maybe? No? It's down here? No. Too many things happening? Huh, okay. Well, suggestions. What's that?
Jim, you want to give everybody a break for a few minutes?
Yeah, that's a good idea. This might be a good time.
Okay. Why don't we take a, 10-minute or 5 minutes?
Yeah, whatever.
10-minute break.